Hola! In Mexico Part 1, we will be looking at goalkeepers. In this case, I have three choices and an honourable mention, and here they are. My first choice is Luis Malagon, as despite some recent rotation in friendlies, 28-year-old Malagon has clearly been the first choice goalkeeper for manager Javier Aguirre in important matches, and I expect that not to change. After leading Mexico to a CONCACAF Gold Cup win in 2025, Luis has returned to decent form with CF America in the Liga MX, where he has 5 clean sheets and 19 goals conceded in 17 matches. The second choice is Jose Rangel, who has had more opportunities in recent times from Javier Aguirre, getting his national team appearance total up to 9 games. This will be good experience for the more youthful 25-year-old Rangel for his job as backup to Luis Malagon at this upcoming World Cup. And should something happen to Malagon, he would be a more than feasible replacement. For his club Chivas, Rangel's form has been okay with 5 clean sheets and 25 goals conceded in 19 matches. Despite his age, I do expect Javier Aguirre to take Guillermo Ochoa, Mexico's most capped goalkeeper of all time with 151 caps, to a record-breaking 6th World Cup. Though I do not expect him to play, I do think the big tournament experience that Ochoa as a third choice brings to this squad makes him more than worth of his place in this 26-man squad. Currently playing in Cyprus for AEL Limassol, Ochoa has 5 clean sheets in 18 matches. Some people will say Carlos Acevedo has been called in as third choice in recent friendlies over Ochoa, but as these weren't actual FIFA-sanctioned international windows, it was impossible for Ochoa, who plays in Europe, to be released for these games. Acevedo also offers nowhere near the experience with only 6 caps at the age of 29, with no caps since 2023 and no big tournament experience. It would be a surprise if he was called up for the third choice role barring injuries. For Santos Laguna in Liga MX, Acevedo has 5 clean sheets and 28 goals conceded in 17 matches. So, that's it for the goalkeepers. If you disagree on anything, make sure to comment and I will listen and take it into account for the Part 7 honourable mentions and 26th man. Also, make sure to like and follow so you don't miss out on any future parts. Adios.
Arriba, arriba, mother truckers. In Mexico Part 1, we looked at the goalkeepers. In Part 2, we are looking at the center backs for the squad. A guaranteed look at the center back position for the hostess nation should be two-time CONCACAF or CONCACAF Gold Cup winner Johan Vazquez. He has 42 national team caps since 2019 and was unfortunate to have missed out on getting any play in the 2022 Qatar, making this the 27-year-old's second World Cup but first appearance. Johan provides valuable European experience, being one of the only players in this current squad to be playing in the top 5 European leagues, where he plays at Genoa in the Serie A. Johan's starting centre-back partner should be Cesar Montes. Personally, he's pretty good with Kendrick Lamar. Fucking dumb joke. Who, unlike Johan, has previously had World Cup games in Qatar. Going to his second World Cup, 28-year-old has now 64 caps and big tournament experience with 3 Gold Cups to his name. He currently plays for Lokomotiv Moscow in the Russian Premier League, where away from the limelight, he seems to be one of the more consistent center backs in the league. The young 23-year-old sexy little minx, Jesus Orzalco, will attend his first World Cup and might get some minutes off the bench, but don't expect much more out of him than being useful backup. He has 9 first-team caps to date and will be hoping to gain something for his long future with this national team by going on to this World Cup. Jesus is currently playing domestically at Cruz Azul. Israel Rise has looked good in the Liga MX this season. His left foot almost looks like it's sending a missile straight to Palestine with CFF America. Despite this, I don't think he will see much time on the pitch at this World Cup unless it's at fullback, where Javier Aguirre has used him at in times in recent international windows. He will be in the 26-man squad, making his first time going to a World Cup, where he will be a valuable, somewhat experienced multi-position backup for a Mexican team looking to overachieve on home soil. The last center back I have making my Mexico squad, Wagwan Castro, is Eric Lira. The 25-year-old who can play in a defensive midfield role has been in and out of the squad since making his full national team debut in 2021. But with his recent form at Cruz Azul, playing alongside other squad members like Jesus Orozco, I think he will be called up for his first team World Cup appearance. He has 21 national team caps to this day, though I don't think he will add any more at the World Cup itself, and more so being an emergency depth player or unused substitution. So that's it for the big dick centre backs. Just come back for more to see the rest of the spicy little fucking Tabasco sauce we have coming for you. Also, don't forget to like and follow so you don't miss out on any other parts. Adios.
Hola, in Mexico part 2, we look at the center backs. In part 3, we will be looking at the fullbacks for the squad. In my opinion, Mateo Chavez will win the race for the starting left back spot in this Mexican team despite his youth and some would say inexperience. The 21 years old has impressed when given the opportunity and should earn a chance to start for his team come June. He currently is one of few Mexicans playing in Europe, where he plays for AZ Alkmaar in the Eredivisie. With his recent loan move to Celtic from Bournemouth, Julian Araujo should be able to get enough game time under his belt to make his way back into the national team and even start at right back position. The 24 years old, once nailed, has generational talent, even getting moved to Barcelona early in his career. Hasn't so far lived up to expectations, but that hasn't stopped him from being a great option for Mexico to use. Should he be fit? To some, this would be a questionable pick at his form as success with the national team in recent times hasn't been the best, but what he does add is experience to an otherwise young fullback position for a team that will be looking to overachieve and make his fans happy. At 31 years old of age, Jesus has amassed 118 caps and been to 2 World Cups in Russia 2018 and Qatar 2022, making him one of the most experienced players Mexico can draw on. His form in domestic league for Toluca has been nothing to laugh at either. As far as backup right-backs come, Jorge Sanchez is probably the best option that Mexico can draw on. He has experience with this being his second World Cup campaign. Jorge did see time playing in 2 matches in 2022, meaning should he get on the pitch as substitute or starter for any reason, he should be well equipped to handle the pressure. Jorge has recently earned a move to PAOK Thessaloniki, which should give him a high level of competition to work a way into the squad. 22-year-old Rodrigo Huescas would be an absolute must inclusion into the squad. Should injuries not exist in football, however they do, and the lightly unfortunate Huescas suffered an ACL tear for Club FC Copenhagen in October 2025, which ended his season. He has been racing to make his way back before the World Cup, but in my opinion that will be not only a miracle recovery time, but will also not necessarily be the most practical choice, as he will be without match fitness and have high re-injury in what is an important home World Cup. Adios, like and subscribe please, see you next time.
Welcome back. Today we'll be looking at the midfielders for the Mexican squad. Arguably the most important player in the Mexican team will be captain Edson Alvarez. Manager Javier Aguirre seems to find a way to always include him, whether it be at centre back or in the midfield, where he can drop between centre backs to help defensively. This will be his 3rd World Cup, and it's likely he will play every minute possible, barring injury or suspension. He is currently on loan with Fenerbahce from West Ham, where it hasn't gone quite as hoped, but he always steps up for Mexico. You might look at the age of Tijuana's Gilberto Moro and think how will he be a starter, but don't get it wrong, this kid has talent at every fibre of his body. At 16 he was the youngest person to debut and play for the Mexican national team and has only improved since. Now still only 17, the future of Mexican football is with this kid, who will be looking to impress and maybe even claim a Young Player of the Tournament award on home soil, although that will be a hotly contested prize at this tournament. The final of the starting midfield spots should go to Marcel Ruiz, who at 25 will be attending his first World Cup. Despite many links to European clubs, Marcel is still applying his trade at Toluca, but I expect that to change sooner rather than later, especially if he helps this team the way I expect him to. In recent times for the national team, though, Marcel has quietly been one of Mexico's most consistent, with the midfielder being highly adaptable to both defensive and progressive roles. Getting a move in the January window to arguably one of the highest profile clubs of anyone in this Mexican side, Obed Vargas has found his way into a talent-filled Atletico Madrid, which will surely only help him to secure a squad spot, if not more, at this World Cup. The 20-year-old who plays mostly in a defensive midfield role will be a valuable rotation piece, particularly in games where Mexico can find a lead they intend to keep. The final spot in the midfield will go to a more experienced rotational player in Orbelin Pineda. The 29-year-old AEK Athens player with previous World Cup experience will be important in helping what is generally a young midfield outfit. He already has 89 national team caps and will be looking to add to that in this tournament. Whether that be off the bench or starting, you just know that Pineda will be there to help his team and teammates by any means necessary. So that's it for the midfielders. Come back next time to see the wingers. Hey, today in part 5, we'll be looking at the second last section of the squad in a consistent performer in the domestic league for Club Toluca. Alexis Vega hasn't quite reached those heights with the national team yet. In saying this, I do think that the 28-year-old will start in the first game against South Africa at the very least. I also believe the wingers will be rotated and have split minutes far more than any other position, meaning he could start game 1 and be unused or a substitute in game 2 depending on form. This will be his second World Cup though, and Mexico will be hoping to draw on that experience and his club form to make a deep push. The primarily right-sided Roberto Alvarado is one of the country's most versatile players, as he seems to be a jack of all trades but master of none. Hopefully this won't hinder him from finding a place in the starting 11, as I'm predicting, but for the time being I think he should win that starting spot. Headed to his second World Cup, Roberto seems destined to spend his entire club career domestically, where he currently plays for Chivas. A name probably more familiar to casual fans, Irving Lozano has been a key player in Mexican squads, especially when it comes to World Cup time. He will be attending his third World Cup this year. Nearing the end of his career, I don't think the 30-year-old will be a starter for Mexico. However, I do see him as a highly impactful sub who could influence games on fresh legs in the dying stages. His time in the MLS for San Diego FC has been impressive so far, meaning he is in good form leading into an important home World Cup. In great form recently for his club Tigres, I expect Diego Lainez to get the call-up for his first World Cup despite his first senior team caps coming all the way back in 2018. At 25, he is in the middle stages of his career, and I see this World Cup being an important learning experience for him going forward, with most of the other wingers around likely not to be so important by the time the next World Cup rolls around. He may get some minutes off the bench, but I don't expect him to start unless he can finish this season off in an undeniable fashion, which isn't impossible for a man of his quality. So, that's it for the wingers. In the next part, we'll be looking at the strikers, a very deep position for this Mexican team. Welcome back to this final part for Mexico, where we'll be looking at the strikers. The man with the third most goals of all time for Mexico will be looking to add to that tally at what will be his fourth World Cup. That man would be Raul Jimenez, who will likely start for Mexico should they use either a 1 or 2 striker formation. Still playing in the Premier League in England for Fulham, at the age of 34, it will likely be his last World Cup, but that doesn't mean he can't have great impact. Second on a strong striker depth chart for Mexico should be the highly informed Julian Quinones. Only recently naturalized, the Colombian-born striker currently plays for Al Qadisiyah in the Saudi Pro League, in which he has a great goal-scoring record. He will be hoping he can translate that into the national team, although it hasn't been the case in his recent appearances, with only 1 goal in 18 national team matches. However, if he can translate club form, he may be one of the top scorers at the tournament and easily win himself the starting gig. Looking at the club he plays for, you wouldn't be dumb to think how is Santiago Jimenez not easily Mexico's starting striker, but unfortunately his time at AC Milan has been plagued by injuries and poor form. Struggles haven't always been a career theme though, as the reason he earned the move to such a big club was because of how great he was for Feyenoord. Despite this, he should make his first World Cup squad, as he was unfortunate not to go to Qatar in 2022, as he did make a provisional 31-man squad, but was cut before making the final 26. When healthy and in form, the 24-year-old is easily Mexico's best striker, but we haven't seen that version in a while, although his career is still young, so hopefully he can turn it around. An Argentine junior international, German Bertrame is my final squad player. The 27-year-old has recently earned a move to Messi's Inter Miami due to fine goal-scoring form in the Liga MX. He will be hoping to carry that over to the national team should he get a chance on the pitch. A valuable squad player for a tournament like this due to his versatility in all attacking positions. It is unlikely he sees much time on the field, but should there be an injury to any attacking player, he will be ready to fill in. So that's it for the Mexican squad. You may be counting if you've watched the videos and think I've only named 25 out of 26 players, but this was intentional, as the last spot will be up to you guys if you can engage with the videos. So with that said, I'll be moving on to South Africa. See you next time.